Nestle has been in Sri Lanka for over 100 years. We have been committed to enhancing the lives of the local community since the very beginning. We purchase hundreds of thousands of litres of milk from 18,000 farmers every day. Committed to increasing fresh milk production in Sri Lanka, we help local dairy farmers produce milk that meets our high-quality standards. Nestle, empowering Sri Lankan dairy farmers.
A very good Sunday evening to you. This is News First Weekend Primetime News. I am Shahin Rampati. Let's start off with a look at your headlines.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa comments on the presidential system.
ඊලාම් වාදය අතාරින්න ඒ හදනම නැති වෙච්ච දවසට මම ජනාධිපති ක්‍රමයක් වෙනස් කරලා කරන්න මම ඕනම වෙලාවක මම විතර සූදානම් නැහැ ඔය කතා කරන කිසි කෙනෙක්.
Police on the lookout for 4 suspects in the attack on Sabragama University students. Pradesh Sabha member among the suspects. Information comes to light on the murder of a Sri Lankan in Malaysia almost 5 months after the incident. Power supply to 2 shops in Petar disconnected illegally. An Action TV expose. Police officer who assaulted a woman in Ratnapura reinstated.
Now for a comprehensive look at those stories, President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that if the TNA and the diaspora are ready to give up on the ideas of Elam and separatism, there is no one else more willing to change the presidential system than him. The president made this statement while addressing an event at the Kilinochchi Madhya Mahavidyalaya.
A program was held to provide compensation to 1,218 families living in the north in line with the recommendations of the LLRC and with the aim of providing relief to the people of the north. A total of 115 million rupees is to be distributed through this program. 25 families received this compensation to symbolize the project. Jewellery that was pawned in LTT banks were returned to their rightful owners today during this event. 20,000 land deeds encompassing the 5 districts of the northern province were also distributed today. According to the presidential media unit, this is the first occasion on which 20,000 land deeds were distributed simultaneously.
මම මතක් කරන්න ඕන දැන් අපේ පැත්තෙත් හරියට දකුණේ මම දැක්ක මේ පැත්තෙත් ඩයස්පෝරාවෙත්.
Both the diaspora and the people in the south are saying that the presidential system needs to be changed. I said fine. However, you need to ask the TNA and the diaspora to let go of the ideas of achieving Elam and separatism. They need to stop trying to split this country. When that is achieved, I am ready to change the presidential system. There is no one else more prepared to change this system than I am. Some people of the diaspora living in England, America and Europe have gotten together and named the president, prime minister and members of the cabinet in their own state. Ranil Wickremesinghe recently met with them and engaged in discussions with them. Let them talk. However, we will not allow Elam or separatism to take root in our country. We need to state that we will keep this country together and create a country where all its citizens live like brothers and sisters.
The
North Central Province Sports Complex built in Anuradhapura was also vested in the public today by the President. Funds for the project were allocated through the Ministry of Sports and a total of 325 million rupees was spent on the complex. After declaring open the complex, the President engaged in an inspectional tour.
The information has come to light regarding the beating to death of a Sri Lankan youth employed in Malaysia 5 months after the incident. 26-year-old Muhammad Zafrin, a resident of Puakpitia Galewala, departed from Malaysia in 2013 for employment. He last worked at a car wash located in the Kampung Padang Jawa area in Malaysia. The merciless beating that Zafrin was subjected to was reportedly brought on by minor damage that he had caused to a vehicle. The owner of the car wash had beaten Zafrin on the 26th of May this year. The suspect has since been arrested.
The boss at the car wash is an alcoholic. One day he called Zafrin over and asked him about the accident with the car. Zafrin told him and begged forgiveness, but he did not forgive. He was very drunk at that time, and that was the first time that he beat up Zafrin. He began beating him at 6 in the morning and it only stopped at about 11 or 12. Then he threw Zafrin into a room and locked him up. We were only able to see him again the next day, and we gave him some food and water. The boss came 2 days later and beat Zafrin again. He started beating him at 7 a.m. and continued till about 2 p.m.
I called the police emergency hotline twice or thrice regarding this incident, but the police did not take any action. When we asked the boss if we could take him to hospital, he said that he would murder us if he caught us taking him to the hospital. The next day in the morning, we took him out at about 9:30 to wash him. We sat him on a chair and it was while he was seated that he breathed his last. I took the 4 photographs at this time.
Zafrin had travelled abroad to earn money to cover the cost of his sister's higher education. His parents had become worried when they did not hear from him for some time.
My son went to Malaysia, but for the past 4 months he did not speak to us and there was no money.
I went to the Foreign Affairs Ministry to make inquiries, but there was no information. There hadn't been a telephone call since the 22nd of May, so I went to look into it, and it was then that I found out that he had died. If children who are travelling abroad to work are being beaten this way and thrown with the rubbish, then what is happening to Sri Lankans?
Newsfirst contacted the Sri Lankan High Commissioner in Malaysia, Ibrahim Ansar, to make inquiries regarding the incident. Are you aware of this incident that occurred?
Well, in fact, we who initiated the action, because we get a piece of paper at the security post. One of the Sri Lankan boy had left about 2-3 months ago, really. And but there no details. That message said one Sri Lankan boy working at a garage, he's missing, and they presume that person was dead. We immediately complained to the police. We lodged a complaint with the police, area police, but police was not following it up. Later we complained to the IGP. On the order of IGP, investigation started. In the meantime, we ourselves tried to contact the fellow workers. Through one of the fellow workers, we got the photograph of the employer. Police, based on that, police arrested, and then he has now confessed that he killed the Sri Lankan worker. And now we are trying to get the DNA matching to confirm that the disease was the Sri Lankan.
This is clearly not a minor incident that has taken place, because
yes, of course, yes.
A minor accident has resulted in the person paying the price with his own life. So yes. What is as a part of the Sri Lankan diplomatic mission doing to solve this matter out?
Because the whole action has been taken because of a mission's involvement. We paid serious attention of it, really. This worker has been working illegally, and we have no records, we have no details, and no one has come forward to give the details. But we pushed the police as soon as we didn't take a chance. In fact, as soon as we received the information, we had only information, the name of a person, that's all.
Now, since you're claiming that you have done your part,
yes, of course.
Yes, okay, clearly.
And we followed up.
Okay.
No family member contacted us, no friends contacted us, no fellow workers contacted us. We had to go after everyone, really.
So are you saying this is the fault on the part of the Malaysian government?
Well, we can't say it's fault of anyone.
Well, High Commissioner,
they
you
also
said
didn't have details, really.
Like
Malaysian police did not have details. No one has come forward to lodge a complaint. No one has come forward to identify the employer. So that was the problem, basically.
We know where this individual lives in Sri Lanka. He lives in Galewala. And when we spoke to the family after hearing this news, apparently they got to know that their son had died just this Friday. Now, he went missing 3 months ago.
We didn't know his passport details were not known. We don't know where he is from. No one has. Even there were 4 Sri Lankan workers who had been working. None of them came forward, really.
So the question is, High Commissioner, how did he get to Malaysia then, if you all have no absolute records of how he got to Malaysia?
They come on a visit visa. These Sri Lankan either come on a visit visa on their own or brought by the with agent, find the employment illegally. They work illegally without visa. There's no record in Colombo with the SLBFE because they don't register with the SLBFE.
High Commissioner, now where are the remains of this individual?
Body has been decomposed and they have found only the bones really now. The accused has killed him and cut into pieces and thrown.
The suspects in the attack on a group of students at the Saburagama University who are engaged in a satyagraha are yet to be apprehended. The police say that 4 suspects have been identified. Now, among the suspects is a UPFA Pradesh Sabha member.
Students of the Sabaragama University commenced the Satyagraha campaign atop a stage constructed at the Pambahina Junction, citing several demands. On the night of the day before yesterday, a group of persons had attacked the students and set fire to the stage. 2 of the 6 students who were injured in the attack are being treated at the Balangoda Base Hospital. The Samanalavavu police have seized 2 motorbikes believed to have belonged to the suspects. The police were deployed to identify the owners of the motorcycles in the Kinvikune area in Pambahina. However, they noted that the suspects had abandoned their homes and fled.
We are conducting further investigations into the incident and have deployed 2 investigation teams. 2 suspects have been identified. One individual is a member of the Imbulpe Pradesh Sabha and the other suspect is an employee of the university. We have so far identified 4 suspects in connection to the incident. Evidence has revealed that a further 15 suspects had arrived at the scene. The 2 investigation teams are working towards identifying the rest of the suspects.
SB සානායක ඇමතිවරයා ප්‍රසිද්ධියේ එතනට ගිහිල්ලා කිව්වා මොවුන්ට සලකන විදිය අපි දන්නවා ඡන්දයක් නොතිබුණා නම් කියලා.
SB Disanayaka went there and said in public that they would be given the proper treatment if there was no election. One of the persons involved in the act of thuggery was Indika Jayamanna, a member of the Imbulpe Pradesh Sabha. He took the lead, gave them alcohol, armed them with swords and clubs and brought them to attack the students. There are videotapes of this. The students have given the police the numbers of the motorcycles. Area residents had identified some of the thugs who had come there. Close to 48 hours have passed since the attack and no one has been arrested.
පැය 48කට ආසන්න වෙමින් තිබෙනවා කිසිම කෙනෙක් මේකන් අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන නැහැ.
The tutorial staff at the Sabaragama University too have categorically condemned the attack.
මෙම ප්‍රහාරය අත්‍තරම විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පරිපාලනය විදිහට
As the university administration, we condemn this attack and we do not approve of these incidents. We are requesting the students to vacate their hostels as the university has been closed down. Support us to reopen the university as soon as possible.
ඉක්මනින් නැවත විවෘත කර ගැනීම සඳහා.
Newsfirst attempted to make inquiries regarding the incident from Higher Education Minister SB Disanayaka, who attended an event held in Anuradhapura today. Our attempts to contact the Vice-Chancellor of the Sabaragama University, Professor Chandani Piyudawatte, was also unsuccessful. The Satyagraha, which commenced at the Pambahina Junction, continued into its 41st day. The students have constructed a new stage to replace the one which was set on fire.
A comrade who came to help us is currently receiving treatment at the Balangoda hospital, while another 2 students of the university who were severely injured in the attack are also receiving in-house treatment. Another comrade who sustained injuries to his ears underwent a surgery and is recovering in hospital. The injured students remain in hospital while the culprits remain at large.
Former Education Minister Karunasena Kodituakku says the present confrontation between the Higher Education Minister and student unions is a contradictory representation of the past. Kodituakku reminisced on Minister SB Disanayaka's actions as a student union representative during his tenure as a lecturer.
මේ දිනවල උසස් අධ්‍යාපන ඇමතිවරයාත් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ශිෂ්‍ය ප්‍රදාවත් අතර අපිට පේනවා ලොකු.
We can see a major clash between the Higher Education Minister and the university student community at present. When looking at statements made by SB Disanayaka at present, I am reminded of how he acted for the rights of students as the president of the student union of the Vidodaya campus at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University and the manner in which he spoke when he was a leader of the Communist Party. He has taken a complete U-turn today. I am truly surprised that the Higher Education Minister has forgotten his own background 40 years later. He referred to students as leeches and cockroaches and various other names. We must not forget that the students in the state university system are the students who performed best in the advanced levels in their respective years. If the Higher Education Minister refers to them as leeches, cockroaches and by the names of other animals, then it is a national catastrophe.
Back to the news. Cyclone Hudud entered the coast of Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, India today. Indian media reports say that 5 people have been killed by the extreme weather conditions. According to data from the Indian Department of Meteorology, the eye of the storm is about 20 kilometers off the coast at present.
Cyclone Hudhud is pounding the eastern Indian coast, causing extensive damage and prompting mass evacuations. The cyclone, classed very severe, brought winds of 205 kilometers per hour as it passed over the coast near the city of Visakhapatnam. Some 400,000 people have been evacuated to safe locations.
Indian media reports say the extreme weather has brought traffic on the Indian National Expressway, Eastern Railway services and air transportation to a grinding halt. Power disruptions were experienced in several towns and cities in Orissa and Andhra Pradesh. Warnings have been issued for about 396 villages in the region. The Indian central government has deployed 44 national disaster management teams, 680 relief workers, 199 rubber dinghies and several helicopters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had previously noted that authorities and the state governments should take steps to ensure that the cyclone does not cause loss of life.
Cyclone Hudhud's impact on Sri Lanka has been declining as it moves further up the eastern coast of India. However, disaster situations were reported from some parts of the island.
Vehicular movement on the Deniai-Ratnapura main road came to a stop near Kalupalama Rakwana in Ratnapura as a massive boulder collapsed on the road. Passengers travelling from Deniai to Rakwana were severely inconvenienced, while the pipelines supplying water to the Rakwana town and surrounding areas were also damaged. Several months ago, this road was closed for a period of 6 months as a result of the collapse of the Tundola bridge.
We can travel safely if this is renovated soon. Right now, neither a child nor a patient can be transported.
Our reporter says that while the cleanup operation was yet to commence as of this evening, area residents say several homes on the roadside are at risk. Fisheries in the Batiklo, Mullaitivu and Puttalam districts were affected by the adverse weather. Fishermen on multi-day trawlers and smaller vessels did not set out to sea today.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours, the Met Department predicts that scattered showers or thunder showers will be experienced in the western, Sabaragamu and central provinces and in the Gaul and Mathur districts. Now, rains could also spread to the northwestern province too.
Now up next is Action TV.
The operation undertaken to remove pavement vendors in the Colombo Fort and Petta areas, enabling pedestrians to walk on the pavement, can be considered the first step in the Colombo City Beautification Program. Several market complexes were constructed to ensure that the pedestrians were not inconvenienced and to allow vendors to carry out their trade in a respectable fashion. As a result of the procedure to select suitable recipients for trade stalls in these complexes being unsuitable itself, the task of allocating stalls at these complexes took 3 times the amount of time that was taken to actually construct the complexes. Since the Colombo Municipal Council too was unable to take any action on this procedure, which made the blessings of the government the only qualification to receive a trade stall, several cases were filed in court with regard to the allocation of trade stalls at the complexes constructed in the Colombo Fort and Petta. One of these cases, pertaining to the complex constructed on Bodhirajamawatha Petta, is still being heard at the Supreme Court. As per an order issued by the court on Friday, the Keselwatha police must take steps to remove persons who are forcibly occupying spaces in this complex. On Thursday, the Colombo District Court issued an enjoining order on the Federation of the Self-Employed, preventing the association from charging money from vendors at these complexes. The Federation enjoys a unique position in this matter. While the market complexes have been constructed using public funds and the vendors occupy the stalls on a monthly rental basis from the Colombo Municipal Council, the Ceylon Electricity Board supplies electricity to these complexes under the billing name of the Federation of the Self-Employed. Each vendor must pay the Federation a sum of 50 rupees each day as payments towards the electricity bill. Against a backdrop where the Federation of the Self-Employed can no longer charge this sum from the vendors, the electricity supply to 2 of the stalls at the Bodhiraja complex was disconnected last night. Incidentally, it was not the Ceylon Electricity Board but the Federation of the Self-Employed that disconnected the power supply.
We pay rent, we pay them 50 rupees a day for electricity. We are afraid to leave the goods here and go. Now we have lost the night-time trade. There is no trade after 6.
It is possible that the Federation brought on this darkness to soothe the anger and sadness caused by the loss of a daily income of about 41,000 rupees as a result of the enjoining order issued on Thursday. When the Federation is able to enjoy benefits going beyond the law and is able to take the law into its own hands when such benefits are deprived to them, is it symbolic of the beauty of Colombo? Secretary to the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development, this is over to you.
Farmers in Valimada state that a situation has arisen where potatoes that were to be sold are rotting. They charge that this situation has arisen because officials who were supposed to purchase their produce last week failed to do so. There is also the risk of potatoes rotting due to the lack of proper storage facilities at agrarian service centres.
I bought in the potatoes on Sunday. It's been over a week. All of it is destroyed. Now I was told to repack again with these potatoes. I'm packing them now. When I started to pack the potatoes, the weight has decreased and they were wilted. Only 3 or 4 lorries have come for the past few days. The Agrarian Services Centre informed us to supply potatoes by Tuesday. We brought the stock here. They didn't buy our potatoes. We've been keeping it from Tuesday. Today is Sunday. We will have to throw these into the garbage soon.
A group of farmers staged a protest yesterday blocking the Nuwara-Eliya-Boralanda road, citing that the mechanism to purchase potatoes should be sped up. Tense situation arose when the district secretary of Nuwara-Eliya arrived at the location. We will not queue people up. We will purchase potatoes that are brought to us. When the farmers brought their produce, we purchased it. Storing and distributing them is our responsibility. We will purchase it at 80. That is it.
ප්‍රජාතීය පක්ෂයට විධායක සභාවකුත් තියෙනවා. කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයකුත් තියෙනවා. මොකක්ද මේ? කවුද මේකේ සමාජික? කවුද මේක පත් කරන්නේ? කවුද මේ විධායක සභාවේ ඉන්නේ? කවුද මේකට මේ අනතුරුපත් කරන්නේ? නායකයාද? මොකක්ද ඔය කියන හරි පැත්ත කියන්නේ? අත්තිලව මේක දෙකක්ද එකක්ද මොකක්ද?
Chief Prelate of the Askiri chapter of the CM sect, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakkhita Thera states that the executive presidency should be changed. The Venerable Thera made this remark when the assistant leader of the United National Party, MP Ravi Karunanayake, called on the Venerable Thera to obtain his blessings.
The UNP assistant leader paid homage to the sacred tooth relic after arriving in Kandy today. Subsequently, Ravi Karunanayake met with Most Venerable Tibbatuwave Sri Sumangala Thero, the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect. He also called on the chief prelate of the Askiri chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakkhita Thero, and received his blessings. Look at what has happened to our embassies. Honorable Thero, we know it is the UNP that introduced the executive presidency. However, it is not good for the country. We should first rectify this. Everyone has rallied for this purpose. As the opposition, we will abolish the executive presidency. The EU election showed us that there is a limit to this joke. The people have put a full stop to being fooled. We have made changes and we have become more people-centric. We are waiting for an election. We will create a change.
Former Southern Provincial Councillor Attorney at Law Maitri Gunaratna says that the common presidential candidate should come from the United National Party. He expressed these views during a media briefing in the Kathalur area in Galle.
We are saying that if the party is to win, the candidate of the people's choice should be made the candidate of the UNP. People in villages ask for Sajid. My personal belief is that if Sajid Premadasa is put forward as the candidate, the UNP can obtain a great victory. As we see it, if a common candidate is put forward, the common candidate should be put forward from the UNP. We do not have any problem with Venerable Madhuruave Sobhuthera coming forward as the candidate. There is a National Executive Committee to take decisions in the party. It has not been convened for many years. The powers of this committee have been vested with the working committee. What are they doing now? They have appointed a 20-member committee to select the presidential candidate. This committee is to decide who the presidential candidate will be. We will not adhere to these decisions. We say these decisions should be taken by public representatives.
Still in local news, a large number of people have flocked to the drought-stricken Kantale tank after a rumor spread that gems were discovered from within it. The area residents stated that the lake is facing a threat of being destroyed due to the activities of these individuals. Now, a number of persons had arrived at the lake today as well in search of gems. Now, as a result, a tense situation arose between the area residents and the group.
The extreme dry weather conditions experienced in the area caused the Kantale tank to dry up. For about a month, area residents have been engaged in excavation in search of gems. Our correspondent stated that the police had given permission to the residents to use small tools for the search. When news spread of these excavations, a number of residents from surrounding areas also arrived at the tank in the hunt for gems. Although a number of persons arrived at the tank today as well, the area residents interrupted their activities by not letting them enter the tank.
People from all around the country began to arrive at the tank, and the tank was being destroyed. Taking this into account, as area residents and as the fishing community, we restricted them from entering the tank.
Later, the police intervened to defuse the situation and prohibited anyone from entering the tank.
ප්‍රජාතීය පක්ෂයට විධායක සභාවකුත් තියෙනවා. කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයකුත් තියෙනවා. මොකක්ද මේ? කවුද මේකේ සමාජික? කවුද මේක පත් කරන්නේ? කවුද මේ විධායක සභාවේ ඉන්නේ?
කවුද මේකට මේ තනතුරුපත් කරන්නේ? නායකයාද?
මොකක්ද කියන හරි පැත්ත කියන්නේ? අත්තිලව මේක දෙකක්ද එකක්ද මොකක්ද?
The annual variety show of the Yoshida Nursery School in Sapugaskanda was held today.
The variety show was held at the Bandaranayaka Memorial International Conference Hall. The chairman of the Sri Lanka Mahabodhi Society, Venerable Banagalu Upatissatera, also graced the occasion, while Deputy Minister of Postal Services, Sanat Jayasuriya, also participated. Children from the Yoshida Nursery School showcased their talents at this variety show.
1970 දශක වෙනකොට මේ ලංකාවේ ලදරු පාසල් වලට ගිය ළමයින්ගේ ප්‍රතිශතය 105යි.
By the 1970s, the percentage of children attending preschools in Sri Lanka was 5%, but come 2014, more than 99% are attending preschools. It is because of Yoshida that such a major revolution took place in Sri Lanka. Yoshida received this model from Srimat Anagarika Dharmapala. The Indian president will launch a commemorative stamp as a mark of respect to him. I wish to express my gratitude at this instance for the invitation extended to me to attend this event. In the past in Sri Lanka, preschools could only be found in and around Colombo. Today, as a result of the program of the Bhikkhu, we have been able to take preschools all over Sri Lanka and even to the villages in our provinces.
The leader of the National Unity Front, Azad Saleh, says that the current government should take steps to create a country which is safer for children.
Azad Saleh made this statement at a handwork exhibition held at a nursery school in Kotahena. In recent times, we witnessed kidnappings of children almost on a weekly basis. We celebrated Children's Day about 3 days ago. This has become a country where thugs go and threaten children and a place where the drug dealers govern the country. If we look at the current parliament, we can witness fraud and corruption taking place on a large scale. The individuals who are supposed to set an example to the country have become corrupt. If we take a list of 225 persons, I do not think we could even find 10 good people from among them.
TNA parliamentarian P. Aryanendran says that the party supported Sarath Fonseca at the last presidential election after obtaining a written promise. He made this statement at a meeting held in Batticaloa today.
It is said that an election will be held soon. It is said it will be a presidential election. At the last presidential election, the Tamil National Alliance supported Sarath Fonseca. There is a view among our people and our politicians that this decision was wrong. There is some doubt. But in the run-up to that election, we presented a set of proposals to the two main candidates, the incumbent president and Sarath Fonseca. The primary demand was that we be allowed to live with freedom and independence in a merged northern and eastern province. Although the current president was for this proposal, he said he would not sign. He said he would implement it following his victory. Sarath Fonseca asked for 3 days to consider the proposal, and following this, not only him, but Ranil Wickremesinghe too signed this proposal. But they requested that this not be revealed to the media or anyone else for any reason whatsoever. All 22 people in the Tamil National Alliance saw this document. We pledged our support after receiving a written promise. Following the announcement of the presidential election this time, we will discuss the matter as a collective and reach a decision.
Pink ribbon bouquets sending rays of hope. A demonstration of AK Bana floral arrangements organized in aid of breast cancer patients at the Kandy Regional Hospital was held in Kandy last evening.
The Ikebana Floral Arrangements exhibition was organized by the Ikebana International Sri Lankan Chapter 262 and featured demonstrations by the internationally renowned Ikebana master Christopher Lim from Singapore. Governor of the Central Province, T.K. Kobbakadua, was the chief guest at the event, which was also attended by a distinguished gathering including the Deputy Ambassador of Japan, Asako Okai, members of the Ikebana International Sri Lankan Chapter 262 and Ikebana enthusiasts.
To help us with the raffle.
Ikebana, or the Japanese art of flower arrangement, goes contrary to traditional flower arrangement techniques and often emphasizes other areas of the plant, such as its stems and leaves, and draws attention towards shape, line and form.
The 7th Unity Camp, which was worked off in Mathura this week, themed Powering Confidence and Building Leaders, concluded today. The camp is a personal development program for student leaders in Sri Lanka, which is organized by the Unity Mission Trust. The main objective of this program is to foster unity, integration, healing and reconciliation among the student leaders of the Wanni area and their peers across Sri Lanka. The camp saw the participation of 550 student leaders across Sri Lanka as well as 70 teachers. The leadership camp provides enhancement in leadership development, personal capacity and self-confidence among student leaders of Sri Lanka. The students also participated in several oratory, singing and drama programs at the camp. A Texas healthcare worker who treated Ebola victim Thomas Duncan before his death has tested positive for the virus. Duncan, who caught the virus in his native Liberia, died at a Dallas hospital on Wednesday. The health worker has not been named. Well, with more news making headlines across the globe, up next is Around the World in 99 seconds. Well, you too now have the opportunity to obtain application forms for the Sports First Mobitel Platinum Awards. Application forms can be obtained from the promotional vehicular parades that commenced from Jaffna and is now journeying across the island. The parade is to arrive in Kandy tomorrow.
The Sports First Mobitel Platinum Awards were launched with the purpose of recognizing Sri Lankan sportsmen and women who have displayed exceptional talent in the local and international arenas. The promotional program was worked off in Mahayangane today. A commemorative plaque was presented to athlete Sandamali Pushpalata from the Madhawaya Junior School. Sportsmen and women from the area were able to obtain application forms for the awards at the promotional program, which also featured a musical performance. For more information on the Sports First Mobitel Platinum Awards, call 0710 420 420. Last Sunday, the bitter truth brought to the attention of the society attempts being made at the Sri Lanka Badminton Association, of which Suraj Dandenia is the president, to give more tournament opportunities to the children of the wealthy and powerful. On Wednesday, the bitter truth exposed the pressure that was being brought to bear on the junior national badminton champion Bhuwaneka Gunatilaka by officials at the Badminton Association. The association had attempted to pressure Bhuwaneka into not participating in the under-19 age group at the National Badminton Championships, which concluded today. As a result of not bowing to the wishes of these unscrupulous officials, Bhuwaneka had been denied the opportunity to participate in a training program in Malaysia and to participate in a tour of Korea. The president of the Badminton Association, Suraj Dandenia, noted that shuttlers who do not act in line with the plans of the association will be punished. However, Bhuwaneka gave the most apt response to all his persecutors by reaffirming his position as the under-19 national badminton champion, winning the tournament at the Navalapitiya Indoor Sports Complex today. The son of the president of the Southern Province Badminton Association, whom the officials at the Badminton Association have shown great enthusiasm to send for a tournament in the US, was incidentally defeated by Bhuwaneka. They imposed various shackles on Bhuwaneka. They changed the tournament plan of the National Junior Badminton Championship. His doubles partner suddenly left for Colombo. We do not know whether he went or whether he was called. He was threatened, but Bhuwaneka proved once again that the attempt to give victories in sport to the wealthy and powerful will not be allowed to continue. The National Badminton Championships, which concluded today, were marred by tensions which flared following a match which was won by Bhuwaneka Gunathilaka. When inquiries were made, the Secretary of the Sri Lanka Badminton Association, Sampath Piris, noted that it was a minor incident. It is also notable that the President of the Badminton Association was among competing shuttlers in the open category of the championships, which concluded today. He hasn't played badminton at the school or provincial level, but is now playing at the national level. Why? So he can protect his power. He is doing it to secure qualifications he does not have. Talented children are being stifled. He calls on them when he wants. It's like match fixing. Even though the minister has been informed of this, nothing is happening. The minister is deaf. It's like playing the violin to a deaf elephant. He does not listen. Whatever the badminton president does is correct to him.
කිසිම වෙලාවක කිසිම දෙයක් අහන්නේ නැහැ. බැඩ්මින්ටන් සංගමයේ සභාපති මොනවද කරන්නේ? ඒක හරි.
The current sports minister has a family connection with the president of the Badminton Association. That is why the minister always protects this president. This person has fraud allegations against him from Sri Lanka Cricket and the Badminton Association. The minister is fighting so hard to protect an association president who has been involved in so much corruption because of family ties. Even if badminton is not played anymore, the minister will protect this president. Against such a backdrop, we cannot imagine what the fate of badminton in Sri Lanka will be. When will the Minister of Sports cast aside wealth, power and family ties to take the correct decisions to uphold the spirit of sports? Is the Badminton Association of Sri Lanka too a nepotist institution where opportunities are only available for the wealthy and powerful? Open for debate.
Now speaking of sports first, following his son's victory, Bhuwaneka Gunathilaka's father thanked Sports First and the Bitter Truth for the support rendered to his son.
My son was crowned the champion of the Under-19 event in both the singles and doubles events. We had to face many obstacles to bring Bhuwaneka to this stage. The Bitter Truth told our story to the country and we received the support of many people because of the Bitter Truth. I am happy to state that it is this support we received that enables such victories to be achieved.
And that's a wrap of Newsfirst Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for watching. It was a pleasure having you with us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Shanti Rampati. Good night and take care.